And welcome
to All
or Nothing.
My name is Sheila.
And I'm Olivia.
To introduce our first topic, we will be having our friend Sarah come in, who is neither all nor nothing, but is somewhere in between.
So, the first topic of today is sexual orientation, which is a pretty big one. So, obviously, there's a wide variety of terms. If you feel like you don't fit into any of these categories exactly, that's okay. It's nothing bad. It's normal. You can encompass a few different aspects and still be fine.
First term is homosexual. It's the one you've probably all heard of, and it's also gay or lesbian. Gay is typically used for gay men, and lesbian is used for gay women. And yes, gay men like men, and lesbians like women.
And there are some lesbians who do choose to go by gay. Another term we have is bisexual. And there are lots of different genders because gender is a spectrum and not just the two binary male and female. However, those who do identify as bisexual generally are only attracted to either male or female and generally not anywhere else in the spectrum.
The next term is polysexual, and poly in Greek means many. So polysexual people like more than two genders, but not all the genders. So we're going to be talking about gender identity later, but there are more than two genders.
Next, we're going to be discussing asexual and demisexual. Asexual, like me, generally means that you do not experience sexual attraction to anyone. As for demisexual, that's kind of like being asexual, except you have to have a close bond with the person that you are romantically involved with before you feel any sexual attraction to them. And a lot of times people don't really know if they're one or the other, so they can identify as gray asexual, which means they're kind of somewhere in the ace spectrum, but they don't really know where they are.
In the Greek language, the prefix pan means all, so pansexual is liking all the genders. So a pansexual person would be attracted to all the male, female, and non-binary genders. Allosexual is experiencing any sexual attraction at all. So a lot of the prefixes that the LGBTQ community uses are from Greek. So a lot of the sexual, romantic, and gender prefixes that we use, such as pan, all mean the same thing for every category. Pansexual is being sexually attracted to all genders. Panromantic is being romantically attracted to all genders, and pangender means that you're all genders. Your sexual attraction is different from your romantic attraction. Sexual attraction is being sexually attracted to people. Romantic attraction is wanting a close emotional bond that's romantic with someone. A lot of the terms are the same, and your sexual and your romantic attractions don't have to line up. The romantic attractions, they basically have all the same prefixes as the sexual attractions. Homoromantic, biromantic, heteroromantic, demiromantic, panromantic, aromantic, polyromantic.
Yes, and as Sheila said, you can mix and match them, so you can be sexually attracted to some and romantically attracted to others, and they don't have to line up.
There's a couple different romantic attractions that don't apply to sexual attraction. Quiromantic, or WTF romantic, is having a hard time distinguishing between romantic attraction and friendship. Here's our friend Sarah to introduce the topic of gender identities.
The next topic that Sheila and Olivia are going to be talking about is kind of a tough one. It's gender identity. Now, the reason this is hard for some people is because everybody is assigned a gender at birth, generally male or female. And this can be hard for people because it's essentially who you've been told to be your whole life. And to go against that and to come out as not fitting into those two parameters can be really difficult.
There are two main classifications of gender, cisgender and non-binary or genderqueer. Cisgender is identifying with the gender you were assigned at birth.
So, everybody at birth is assigned a gender. Basically, it has to do with your sex, male or female. And sex is different than gender, because gender is an idea of personal expression, and sex is just your biological condition, or state, I guess is a better word. And so, traditionally, everybody is either male or female, which are called cisgender, and that means that you are not non-binary gender, and you're just traditionally either one way or the other on the spectrum. What else should I say? There's a difference between sex and gender?
Cisgender is identifying with the gender you were assigned at birth. Should I do that again?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Cisgender is What did I say?
Gender you're assigned at birth?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cisgender is agreeing with the gender you were assigned at birth. So if you were if you were assigned if you were a female at birth and you still identify as a female, you would be cisgender. And the difference between sex and gender, sex is your chromosomes. So if you have an XY chromosome, your sex is male. And if you have an XX chromosome, your sex is female. And I know there are different, like, XXY. There's some biological conditions where the chromosomes don't indicate your sex, but since most people are born with normal chromosomes, we're just going to talk about those. The other classification of gender is non-binary, which is basically not identifying with the gender you were assigned at birth. And some people call this a non-binary or genderqueer, or a term a lot of people use is NB. It's just an abbreviation of non-binary.
Okay, so transgender is the T in LGBTQ. You might be familiar with it. And traditionally is when a male identifies as a female or a female identifies as a male in gender. And some can undergo surgery to switch their sex to match how they identify, and there are some who don't. But traditionally, these are all known as transgender.
Transsexual is someone who chooses to undergo surgery to physically change their appearance. Agender is having the lack of a gender. So agender people, and sometimes it's called genderless or gender neurosis, they don't feel a gender. They don't feel like they identify with male, female, or any other gender. Bigender is identifying with two genders. So you could identify with male and female and switch between the two sometimes, or stay with both of them. Or you could identify with female and third gender, or anything like that. Third gender can be anything. It's basically anything except male and female. They don't feel like they're male, they don't feel like they're female, but they feel like they have a gender. Polygender is many genders, and so a polygender person could identify as male, female, and a third gender, or any combination of many genders. Pangender is identifying as all the genders, so all the genders that there are, pangender people identify as all of them. Demi-boy is identifying as a male and another gender. So this could be used the same way as bigender, but it just depends on how you want to classify yourself. And demi-girl is the same way, so they identify as a girl and another gender.
And if you don't really fit into any of these, or you do, but from time to time it changes, then it's known as gender fluidity, or you could identify as being gender fluid.
Your gender basically fluctuates. Intersex is being born with both genitalia. Typically, one doesn't really perform the function that it would normally perform, but it's still present. A lot of times intersex people are assigned a gender at birth that their hormones don't reflect, so gender can really be a struggle for them later in their life. A lot of non-binary people use the terms DMAB and DFAB to indicate what gender they were assigned at birth. So DMAB means designated male at birth, and DFAB means designated female at birth. Thank you for subscribing. Don't forget to comment about our video, and if you have any questions for us at all, please comment.
We love email.
We have an email, all.or.nothing.channel at gmail.com. And we also have a Tumblr, all.or.nothing.channel.tumblr.com. And feel free to ask us any questions.
Okay, well then, that wouldn't be my first pick, but let's go with that.